Welcome to the first behind the scenes video. This video and this video series is all about showing you the actual day-to-day operations behind the scenes of my business. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be breaking down Tuesdays as a lead gen segment, and then probably Thursdays as a client build, admin, general business lesson segment. So the goal here is to share some transparency, what's going on inside my business, so you actually get a bit of a day-to-day rundown in a more casual setting. You're not going to find editing here. You're not going to find anything like that. This is a let's get in, let's get things done sort of video. So let's jump in. So first, behind the scenes. Like I mentioned, this is the lead gen variation. So I'm going to walk you through what I'm currently doing for lead gen. Now, to provide some context here, I'm currently on holiday. So I'm in La Jolla, in San Diego for 2 weeks with my family, kind of pseudo holiday, whereby we are staying down here, actually looking after a friend's house. So spending a couple of weeks here. And then we've got a week back home in LA before we go to Hawaii for an actual holiday, which can be a 9-day actual holiday. So we're actually going to be away a lot. And then we come back for a week and then we travel to Colorado. So as you can tell, I do a lot of travel, and especially over summer when my kids are home, it's one of those things that I'm not aggressively growing the business, where once we get past that section, once school kicks back in sort of early September, I'm going to be very aggressive in growth. And when I say aggressive in growth, what that means is I'm not actively prospecting new leads in a very direct way. What I'm doing is leveraging partnerships and referrals to bring in quality leads in the meantime, as well as we've got like 90+% of our work is retainer driven. So income continues flowing. So my current lead gen, mostly organic. So these are the three sources. So organic LinkedIn, and this is content driven LinkedIn. This on average brings 2 to 3 leads a month. So nothing huge, but it's people that are like, hey, we like your stuff, let's talk. So that's a really valuable thing, and that's why I shot a video on how to use LinkedIn for AI automation agencies recently. Something I do, it's something I believe every agency should always be doing. Next is referrals from clients. So when clients actually refer other clients to us, I signed signed 2 in the last 2 weeks, actually, in hindsight with that. And again, I did a referral video on this because this is how I get clients. Both of these were smaller projects, like $1,600 to $2,000 a month retainers, but it's pretty simple work. And that's the sort of work that I like doing, is small, simple work, and then pairing it with some big stuff. Because if you only have big clients, and you'll see in a sec some of the deals I'm working on, some of these, $5, $10, $15, $30,000 a month clients are fantastic. But if that takes all your time, if you lose that client, or if that project comes up, you end up with no cash flow. I've got a rule for myself. I don't want any client to be more than 5% of my revenue. And if a client does hit that, it means I need to sign additional clients aggressively to balance it out. And then the last thing I'm doing for lead gen at the moment is securing referral JVs, and I'll cover that in a sec. Referral JVs, joint ventures, are fantastic. They really just keep those leads flowing. So, like I mentioned, why am I in maintenance mode? Essentially, summer holidays, taking a little bit of a break. And also, when you do outbound, there's a sales cycle involved. So, sales to pull a trigger on a brand new email campaign today. I know the first leads will start coming in in the next 24 to 36 hours. And then there's a sales cycle of getting on the phone, doing a discovery, doing a growth call, and then ideally closing it. And that's a 1 to 3 week sales cycle. So I've got a time when I start new emails based around what's coming up. And because I've only got so many small periods, I'm not doing that right now. And right now I don't need the money. But our business is a good, profitable, stable position. So I don't need to be signing clients. Instead, I can enjoy the summer a little bit and be here. This is one of my summer projects is getting this YouTube channel really going. Like, this business has been fantastic. Some of you guys in the comments are dropping some great comments, really providing some valuable feedback. And I want to be here to serve you guys. So what am I doing this week for my launch? Well, firstly, I'm going to be launching new email campaigns. I said, maybe I wouldn't, but I actually am. And this is a part of a video. I did a video a while ago on a subject line test, and how when I did the subject lines with Opus instead of Sonnet, we got a lot. I think it's like a 3.6% higher response rate from memory. And someone was like, hey, what if you write all the icebreakers, you write the customizations, all that with Opus versus other models as well? Like, how does that stack up? So that's what I'm going to be doing here, is actually building that out. And I'm also going to be starting new LinkedIn outreach campaigns. So for LinkedIn outreach, essentially what this looks like is pull up LinkedIn here. Essentially LinkedIn, you can come over to Sales Navigator and you can run outreach campaigns where you basically pull up, whoever you want to target. So saved searches, let's see what saved searches. That's totally bizarre. There's no saved searches. Let's just hypothetically say you go accountants. So what you do is you'd set up an outreach campaign and you target whoever you want to target here, and you just connect with them. Now, to automate this process, I use a tool called Expandy. I've used them for years. It's a really solid tool. And what they'll do, I'm going to pull it up for you, and I'll shoot a full tutorial in a couple of weeks. Actually, Expandy at V2. Because I am currently outside, so my Wi-Fi is pretty crap. But Expandy.io is a company. Essentially what they'll do is if you give them a Sales Navigator link, so even if you just do a free Sales Navigator trial, pull up several links of who you want to target, connect your LinkedIn account to Expandy. I think it's like $100 a month. It will then go and connect with everyone. And every day I'll send 20 connection requests by default. And then it can go and it can actually follow up. So it can run different campaigns. So it'll actually go, cool, now you've connected. I'm going to go like on your posts. I'm going to do other stuff. Really, really cool stuff that you can do there. And you can integrate things. Like you can integrate image and GIFs and customize them. You can also integrate with a tool called SendSpark, which is a really, really great tool for boosting response rates on automated campaigns. Now, when I say automated, it's because I'm going to be setting this up this week to set and forget so that, and I've run it, like I said, most of the last 2 years. Set and forget for me at this stage is starting to build relationships and also in connections so the LinkedIn algorithm sees my B2B content. What you guys see on YouTube is basically my helping agencies grow content. It's not my let's get enterprise clients to pay me content. Different thing. Now, current deals in the pipeline. This is stuff actively working this week. A law firm deal. I mentioned that in the last video when I mentioned how I didn't sell with AI. So this deal, I've got a verbal yes for $12,500 for that one. Basically waiting a check. Now, for me, nothing means anything until the money's in my bank. They can give you a verbal yes. They can sign a contract. Until they pay, it's not a client. That's my philosophy. I've had many signed contracts over the last decade that have fallen through because they just didn't pay. Next is a niche investment fund. So I can't reveal the niche to this one because they are a very private client. But this one is an AI-driven ads campaign. We actually are currently doing a really large email outreach campaign for these guys as well at a very nice retainer. And we're doing an AI-driven ads campaign in order to prime the target audience before they receive the email. So this is going to be omni-channel. So we're actually going to create very targeted ads so that people start seeing the ads, let's say 2 weeks before they start getting the emails. So really, really cool campaign there. The same niche investment fund, we're doing a very large scale Instagram outreach build, and I'm using Flowchat for that, and I'll shoot a video for that once I finish getting that case study put together. It's a really, really cool tool, Flowchat. If you haven't used it, it helps automate all your social outreach. It does need to run locally on a computer though. But this one, we're looking at 30 to 40K builds plus 7 to 10K month retainer. I've been given a verbal yes, like they asked me to do a beta test and build a beta test for them. I know what they've paid in the past for similar systems, so I know what the budgets are. I'm also working at a music B2B SaaS. So this is a B2B SaaS that sells to essentially record labels and stuff. This is a 7.5K flat build for 3 months, and then it'll be 5K a month after that. This one, I'm doing more of a sort of get the foot in the door, get the teeth sunk in, and then scale the retainer up. So I've scoped out a lot of the deliverables initially because they are in the startup infancy phase. They don't have huge cash flow yet. They're like, hey, what can you do for a smaller budget? Because I initially quoted 6.5K, but we're going to be doing 7.5 for 3 months, get it moving, get the results. To me, this is a great case study to move into the music SaaS space. I think there's a huge opportunity there. And also a dental B2B SaaS. These guys do they've got a inventory system for dentists, really, and orthodontists and dental veterinarians and things like that. It's a really cool software. You and I would never use it, but for their industry, it's really cool. This is a small one. Essentially, it's going to be an AI-powered multi-channel sales system which to me means LinkedIn and email. So using tools to integrate that. 2.5K a month plus a 10% rev share on a 12-month contract. Ultimately, you may look at 2.5K and be like, oh, that's a small amount. But when you start stacking it up, you run the numbers and you go, cool, we're actually going to be generating by the end of the first year about 100K a month of additional revenue. 10% rev share of that starts becoming 10 grand a month. So it starts becoming, over the first year, it's probably going to be at 120 grand project. So there's some good cash there. And some smaller stuff I'm working on at the moment. Landing pages, lovable Claude code and stuff like that. Just small projects there. Things that can be pumped out in like an hour. Now, when I say I'm working on closing these deals, like what does that actually mean? How does that look? Well, you don't want to be sending an email. Like once you've sent a proposal out, okay, or a transformation plan, once you've sent that out, you don't want to be like, hey, just checking for any questions, just checking this, just checking that. You send it out, and then you send a follow-up being like, hey, would you like to jump on a call and run through how this looks at your business? And then you want to follow up again with a case study. So if you've got a case study that's yours, or you've got a case study of another business in the industry that's done something similar, you just want to start sending the proof. If you've got testimonial, send them a testimonial. Like you want to nurture that to make them go, cool, whatever the question in my mind is that I'm postponing this thing, great. Usually what I do at the end of the 30 to 45 day period is I'll usually run some sort of discount offer where it's like, hey, for the next 48 hours only, if you haven't signed up, if you want to go ahead, sign up, pay with the payment link. I do all my payment via credit card, pay by the payment link, and I'll give you a 10% discount the first month, 20% discount the first month. I did this years and years and years ago. It's like 8 years ago now with an SEO client. We did 50% off the first month. Okay, they signed up 2 businesses. To this day, I'm still working for that business. That business got sold. The new buyer brought me in to look after their other businesses they own. So never underestimate the long-term value of doing a first month discount. Now, I don't do lifetime discounts. I do a first month discount to ease the cash flow burden for people. Because sometimes it's that trigger of like, oh, what do we need to do here? So there's that. Now, I've got some iced deals to renew as well that I'm working on right now. So this is 4 big finance companies. Each of these guys got about a 1 million person database. They run about 10,000 leads a week. So huge opportunity there for database reactivation and SMS-driven AI because they're not using any of that. And this is a performance-based deal. Then when I say iced, it means we went into summer. They know the audience doesn't really do anything over summer. So like, hey, let's just put this on ice. Let's revisit it in September and then get it going in the lead up to Christmas, which is their busy time. So that's really the deals I'm working on at the moment. Right now, this is not going to be that much context. Give it next week, the week after that, and I'll be able to loop back and be like, hey, I closed this one, didn't close this one. This is what happened here. Be able to share with you guys essentially the learnings. And that's the purpose of this channel. I've always found when I've done courses and things in the past that half the learnings from the course content, half the learnings from Q&As, well, probably a third is from Q&As, and then a third is actually from feedback in the group. And this is essentially like Q&A / behind the scenes. So let's quickly deep dive into JV partnerships because this is a really, really great one. This is a partnership that's already brought me 2 deals that are probably going to be worth about 150 grand this year. So this started with a friend and our kids are friends. We started swimming together lots last summer. And he liked me, knew what I did. I knew what he did. He was like, hey, can you do some work for us? And I said, sure, let's do some stuff together. Delivered awesome results, generated 800 leads for a very high ticket sale within 3 months. And then he just asked us like, hey, the company is building for an exit, which the challenge with building a business for an exit is you can't, the moment you bring investors on board, you can't just continue to increase your own salary. You need to be approved by the investors. You essentially bring in a boss. So he was like, hey, I've got this whole network of people that ask me every day for consulting in this industry. He's like, your services work really well. Can I actually help, like refer you? And can we do something there? And I was like, dude, of course. I was like, how about we do some referral stuff and then we can, I cut you a check for a commission based on each deal that you bring to me. So he's connecting me leads, mainly SaaS and tech. He's built a very big tech company before. And I'm giving him 25% cut of the gross revenue. Now, because we've got a strong working relationship, we're taking this to the next level. We're actually setting up a company together to run this in and to build it. And for me, obviously, there's huge upside. For him, there's the ability to increase his personal income while he builds his other company for the exit, which is virtually a guaranteed exit with the way that the company's looking. But it's 3 years down the track and he wants to have some more cash now. There's only so much you can do without liquidating some equity there. So we've had 2 calls so far. Really great value there. Now, this is what I call a super connector. This is the sort of person who will be able to connect me with virtually anyone within several industries. And it's just we're probably going to, and this is why we're doing a company together, we're probably going to bring in $500,000 to $1 million worth of work over the next 2 years together. And that's why hey, let's just do this properly. So how do you get a super connector? Like if you're sitting there, you're 16, you're like, how do I get someone like this to know, like, and trust me? Because a super connector goes beyond just business. I've got people in business that could be super connectors, but people usually do things for people they really like, and that's where this comes in. So the first step is to spend time where successful business people live. And when I say live, it's like, do they play tennis? What do they actually do? That's where you want to basically spend time. If you've got kids and things, you want to really jump into schools and suburbs and such that actually have business people hanging out there. And then you want to genuinely build relationships. One of the big lessons I've learned over the past 12 months is there's more value in business relationships than there is in any funnel. Any funnel, any lead gen system, anything like that is not going to bring the same value as a really good set of 5 relationships who can just open doors for you or connect you to people. So you want to genuinely form relationships with people. Like the way I'd say to go about this is, let's say hypothetically you live in Los Angeles and you say, you know what, I want to do this. Go and join a tennis club in Brentwood or in, I would say Pacific Palisades, but that's not there anymore. Or, wherever the expensive neighborhood is in your city, go and join a tennis club. Go and join, a business networking club. Business networking is a bit 50-50 because sometimes a lot of people are there just to sell. But find these communities. I was even at a seminar recently, all things sort of quantum energetic and personal development. And I got 2 leads out of it just because it's an expensive seminar. So everyone there has, like most people, they have got a business and just talking and they're like, we need what you have. And I'm like, great, let's do it. So just spending time around that. Now, obviously, if you're broke, you can't go and spend a lot of money. But think of like, how can you get in those circles? And then genuinely make friends. Like this is generally the people you want to be friends with. Like don't just do this in order to get something. Go and genuinely find people you like and form friendships. And then genuinely help them. If you hear them having a problem and you think you can solve it, like, hey, I think I can help with that one. Like I'll do it for free. I just want to help a friend out. And that's the thing, you just help friends. I help friends all the time for free. Help family for free. And deliver extraordinary results. Like let's say hypothetically, you make friends with someone who owns, a chain of mattress stores, as an example. And their issue is leads that come in overnight are not serviced. And you say, you know what? I can build an AI sales agent who will SMS with these guys and get them booked in to come in to the store, and we can do like a VIP sort of arrangement where they come in, they've got an appointment with a specialist versus just walking in and talking to a salesperson. Like this as an example. Don't just do that. Build it, crush it. And if you say you're going to do it with SMS, be like, hey, I've also built this thing where we can go through your old database and invite them in for this exclusive offer. So like do something over and above what you discussed. Obviously get their permission before you send it live. And that's like delivering amazing results beyond scope. At that point, once you deliver it, it'll be like, hey, who else do you know that could use stuff like this? Like I'm actually looking to take on a few more paid clients. And at that point, it's a friend helping you because you've helped a friend and you've actually built friendships. So that's how you get your own super connector. Now, last thing, bottlenecks. And this is kind of the framework I'm going to follow with these lead gen tool things. And obviously in the coming weeks, as I'm launching new campaigns and whatnot, part of that honestly is to show you guys too. I'm going to then show you guys the behind the scenes of those campaigns, what's working, what variants are working, what's not, etc. So right now, bottlenecks for me are balancing time, family time, YouTube growth, delivering client work, and signing new deals. When you spin up your sales machine, it takes a lot of time. Like I know if I'm going to be doing 2 to 3 sales calls a day, by the time you then do proposals, prep, follow-up, you're going to fill your day with that in this industry. So I'm balancing that out. Ultimately, this is just a period. It's just a couple of weeks. And right now, I'm pretty committed to growing YouTube. I'm committed to helping you guys. And then I'll sign more clients later. The other thing I'm doing is my company branding over the last year needs a huge update. If anyone's not aware of my company, you can always Google me and find out. This is our website. Now, this website's gone through 3 variations. where it started off as an ads and an automation and SEO agency. And over the last couple of years, as technology shifted and we've grown to add services, I haven't really updated the website. I've just stripped out the main focus being on those services, but haven't added in the additional services that we offer now. So I'm going through an enormous update. I'm going to build a whole new site. By the time we do an update next week, you should be able to see it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to be using Claude Code to build this. To make it simple, essentially, I'm going to be dropping the full Claude Code. I've already got all the copy written. I've got the messaging, the structuring set up. Claude Code's going to build a new front end. It's going to drop it inside of WordPress. So what we'll essentially do is keep this header, and then everything else on the page is going to be just inside a HTML module. And I'm going to build out all the pages, get that dialed in, because that's some feedback I got last campaign. People were like, hey, your messaging's getting a little split now. So that's it. Micro wins and experiments show promise. A quick thing on client management, guys. So if you ever get an email or a bunch of emails from a client that seems really angry. I had this last week with a client, and I was like, fuck, I'm just going to get rid of this client. I was like, that is causing me too much headache. And then we actually got on a Zoom call, and she was actually really happy. She was like, that's just how I am over email with things, just very blunt, just like short sentences. And I was like, oh. And then I reflected on things I used to do, which is when I used to get upset clients, I'd call them immediately. So if you get a bad email from a client, pick up the phone and call them, okay? One of two things is going to happen very quickly. And firstly, it shows you got balls. And if you don't have balls, people aren't going to respect you. So pick up the phone and call them if they're sending you a pissed off email. You will get to talk to them and find out what is really upsetting them. Don't defend yourself. Just say, hey, what's going on here? Like, tell me more about it. And then dig like you're doing a discovery. They're like, oh, the automation's saying the wrong things all over the time, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, we can fix that. What else is going on? Oh, da, da, da. What else is going on? Oh, da, da, da. What else is going on? I don't have enough money to make payroll this month. That's the issue. They're just taking it out on you. Other part of that, if you get an email from a client after like 8 o'clock at night, don't take it seriously. The other micro win this week, done a couple of videos recently with slides and a shorter editing style. Seems to be upping retention. So that's it for my notes for this call, guys. Let me know what else you'd like me to do in these behind the scenes video. This is kind of more of an off the cuff behind the scenes style look. If there's other elements you'd like me to cover, like I said, I'm going to be doing roughly 2 of these a week. The next one is going to be really covering client builds, client work. What am I working on? What challenges, what successes, what lessons can I share with you? If there's other things you'd like me to include here, let me know. This is an early format. Like, we're building this channel together. So any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.